Hi guys, welcome to your full moon in Scorpio yoga class. My name is Natasha, also known as Nurse Natasha, pretty much on every platform here, Instagram, TikTok. By the way, just side note, please go follow me on Instagram if you don't already. I'm literally 300 followers away from 100K at the time of filming this. So please, I would most appreciate it. But yeah, welcome. If you've never been here before, I do yoga classes that connect to the new moon, the full moon, other astrological events. I make sure my yoga is as accessible as possible for everyone, so we will use props. I'm going to give variations. It's all about listening to your body and doing what works best for you and your body. So just remember, everything I say is an option, not an order. You do what works best for you. Yeah, this is the full moon in Scorpio, also known as the pink moon. This is also going to be a super moon, so it's going to be a little bit closer to us, so it's probably going to look pretty big. And this moon it's going to be big for a lot of reasons. So of course it is a super moon, so the energy is going to be even higher. It's in Scorpio, so this full moon is all about this huge emotional release. Also, besides the full moon in Scorpio, there is a stellium in Taurus. So what we're going to try to do is balance this emotional release with grounding energy of Taurus, because we don't want to get, all up in our feels and just completely lose perspective and go off into space. And, we want to stay grounded. We want to come back down to earth. And on the day of the full moon, so the full moon happens on April 26th into the 27th, so that night between those 2 days, on the 27th, we have our first retrograde. So no planets have been in retrograde for the past 6 months. So use this full moon to release anything that needs to be released, because I think Pluto is the first planet to go into retrograde the day after the full moon. So we want to use this full moon, this super moon energy, to just release anything that doesn't serve us. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. As far as what I'm going to cue, you will need blocks for this class. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can use textbooks, old books, anything that's just this general shape and size. Also, some just helpful props to use or have is a strap. You can also use a blanket or a towel, bolster or a pillow. Again, use what works for you and your body, but I will be cueing some variations with the blocks today. But yeah, so Scorpio in the body rules all of our reproductive organs, our sexual organs, and the sacral chakra. So we're going to be focusing on those hips today, guys. I feel like it's been a while since we've done a hip release class, but we're also going to stay low to the ground again, because we want that grounding energy, that root chakra energy from Taurus. But yeah, we're going to get deep in the hips. So just before we get started, I like to give a little, I posted this video on TikTok that went viral about how when you do pigeon pose, all your trauma comes up and you cry. That's because we store all of our emotions in our hips. This is where they go. So if you have any unresolved things that you just haven't worked on, it's going to stay in your hips. And when you start to do hip openers, if you imagine your hips, your pelvic bowl as an actual bowl, as we start to open our hips and we start to shift this bowl around, stuff starts to come out. Imagine it's like a bowl full of water, because the sacral chakra is the chakra of water, of flow. Scorpio is water energy. And we start to move this bowl around. We're opening our hips, and this emotion, this water starts to spill out, and it starts to come up. You gotta let it go. Don't keep it in, let it go. That's what we're trying to do here. You need to release that so we can move on. So the affirmation, the mantra I have for this class is, I'm releasing what no longer serves me. Or if you really struggle with letting yourself feel, I give myself permission to feel. That's the first step. If you're like, Tasha, I don't know how to release it, I don't even know how to feel it, then use the mantra, the affirmation, I give myself permission to feel. All right, let's see, I'm just looking at my notes, make sure I didn't forget anything. The last thing I want to say is very specifically to this supermoon, is about releasing anything that's shallow. We want to get deep. I don't know why the song Shallow by Lady Gaga from A Star Is Born, I'm obsessed with Lady Gaga, that just came into my head. We're trying to get deep here. Release any shallow relationships, any things in your life that you're just like, why am I doing this? Do I even like this? No, it's shallow, it's irrelevant. We don't need it, get rid of it. Yeah, I think that's it. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna get started in supported bound angle pose, supine, so Supta Baddha Konasana, and you will need your blocks here. So we're gonna go ahead and get set up for that. So you're gonna lay down on your back. So it's a variation of Savasana. So get situated to lay down on your back, bring your blocks with you, and just gently go ahead and lay down. Now you can, of course, lay on a blanket, bolster, pillow if that's what's comfortable for you. Now what I want you to do is bring your feet bottoms together to touch. Open up the knees, so we're opening up the hips here. Now your blocks are going to go underneath your thighs or your knees. Kind of play around with the height there, whatever you need. Or you might not need them at all. But this is just, if you have really tight hips or you have a knee or hip injury, this just gives you a little bit of support here. So find where that is comfortable. Now for your hands, you can have palms facing up to receive, or I would recommend palms facing down to get grounded, right? We're going to tap into that grounding energy. And I just want you to close your eyes and start to sink into the mat here. Start to bring your awareness to your breath. And we're just noticing it as it goes in and out through our nose. We're not changing anything about it. Using it to take inventory here of the mind, the body, the soul. Notice where any tensions, blockages, or constraints are happening. Now these can be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. For me, I can feel, even though we're laying here on the ground, I can feel my shoulders just being really tense. So with my breath, I'm going to inhale, fill up, and then exhale. I'm just going to release those shoulders, release any tension that's kind of holding on in there. And with any blockage, with any constraint, especially if it's emotional or mental, I want you to acknowledge it. And I want you to practice non-judgment, non-attachment. Don't judge yourself for this. Don't be like, oh, I feel so bad because, you know, I have this blockage. I feel guilty. No, we're human. Acknowledge it and know that we're going to work through it, especially in this class. We're going to release that stuff. Still focusing on your breath. When you inhale, you feel the chest expand, the belly expand, take up space. And when you exhale, just start that releasing process. Now bringing that focus to your hips, noticing maybe what's coming up already in those hips. Maybe you're like, oh, this pose is already a little intense. I can feel my hips opening. Maybe they feel tight, maybe they feel open. Whatever it is, we're going to get deep in there. Now I want you to choose your mantra, choose your affirmation. Maybe it's, I give myself permission to feel. Or maybe it's, I'm releasing things that no longer serve me, or anything that speaks to you. Make your own affirmation. And we're going to seal that with a breath. So I want you to take a big inhale in through the nose. Again, fill up the body. Push out the belly, take up space, and open mouth, exhale, release. One more big inhale in through the nose, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up, take up space, and open mouth, exhale, release. You can let your breath return back to normal. And when you're ready, just gently, you can use the hands if you need to press the legs back to closed. You can move your blocks off to the side. Keep them nearby though, because we'll be using them throughout class. And now we're going to extend our legs, log onto the mat. And I want you to start with the right knee, draw it in towards the chest. Now here is where you can use your strap. You can wrap it around your foot, wrap around the shin or the back of the thigh, or you can use your hands to just pull that knee into the chest. Again, listening to your body, doing what works best for you. And we're getting right into these hip openers here, friends. We're getting right into it. So option to stay right here, or option to take a half happy baby. So that's opening the hip even more. And now what you're going to do is you're going to open that knee out to the side, and now either using your strap or your hands, you're going to grab for the bottom of that foot. And you're going to pull that hip open. A half happy baby here. We're getting right into those hips. Breathing here. That left leg is staying long and straight on the mat. Just taking a few nice deep breaths here. All right, now from here, we're going to take a twist. So you can maybe gently release that foot, but keeping the knee pulled in. We're going to inhale here and exhale. We're going to draw it across the body over to the left. So take it nice and slow there. Ooh, felt a little crickety crack in my spine. Now you can bring your arms out to a T position. Try to keep that right shoulder as close down to the mat as you can. Maybe gazing over that right shoulder. You can also use this left hand to help draw that left thigh over. Just taking this deep twist here. Twists are also great for releasing. And this twist is still kind of focused in that sacral chakra area. Getting a bit of the outer hip too here. And just breathing. Noticing anything that might be coming up. Remembering to acknowledge it. Don't attach yourself to it. Don't judge yourself for it. And release it. Cry if you need to. There probably going to be a lot of tears in this class. Gently inhale here. Exhale. Bring it back to center. And go ahead and release that right leg. Now we're going to take it to the left side. So right leg goes long, drawing the left knee into the chest. Again, using your strap or your hands here to pull that left knee in. And just breathing here, feeling this side start to open. Now again, option to stay right here, or if you'd like to take that half happy baby, either with your hand or your strap, just grabbing that foot, pulling that knee down, opening that hip even more. And as always, breathing, don't forget your breath. Now we're going to take that twist. So you can release that foot, but keeping the knee pulled in. We're going to inhale here and exhale. Draw that knee over to the right. Finding that twist here. Again, arms can be out at a T position. You can gaze over that left shoulder, trying to keep the left shoulder on the mat. You can use that right hand to kind of pull that thigh over. Just feeling this release, this twist. Never forgetting your breath. Inhale here and exhale, bring it back to center, and then go ahead and release. You can shake out your legs if you need to. Now we're going to take a full happy baby here. So again, option for a strap. You can wrap it around the feet or the backs of the thighs. You're going to draw your knees into your chest. Now again, strap here. You can wrap around your feet. You can wrap around here, just trying to pull those legs down. You can also grab for the back of your thighs, your calves, or your feet. And we're finding that full happy baby. So we did one on each side. Now we're doing the full thing. Option to maybe rock back and forth here. Maybe if you want to straighten one leg or straighten the other. You might already be feeling those emotions come up, and that's okay. Remind yourself this is a happy baby, not a sad baby. So, hey, even if you're crying, give us a smile. Happiness is an emotion. That could also be something that comes up. It could be anger. It could be sadness. It could be frustration. There's so many different things that could come up. Now I want you to gently release, but keeping these knees pulled into the chest. We're going to do some hip circles. Now this can feel a little intense. You might want to either place your hands underneath that low back or a pillow, a blanket, just to give your low back some support. I'm just going to use my hands here. Now we're going to basically just kind of create these circles with our knees. So I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like. So we're just going around in a circle just like that. Now for me, my hip joints kind of like to pop. If you feel that, I just want you to make that circle smaller. Going bigger kind of causes those hips, if you have hips like mine, to pop a little bit. So just take a little baby circle. Now we're going to go first in this direction. Inhaling as the knees come to center, and exhaling as we create that circle. Inhale, draw them in. and exhale out. Now, if you'd like to, you can also take your legs and extend them and kind of do a full range of motion with the legs, but it's up to you. I'm just going to keep drawing these little circles with my knees. We're also getting a little bit into the core here. 3 more in this direction. Overeat your breath. All right, go ahead and release it for a second. Shake it out if you need to. Then we're going to go the opposite way. So again, pulling your knees into your chest. This time we're going to inhale, draw them forward, and exhale. Well, actually, you know what? I think, wait, nope. We're going backwards. So we're going to draw the knees out and then around. So instead of in and then around, we're going out and then around. Inhale as they come in, and exhale as they go out and around. Now again, you can do that full extension of the legs, and you can keep the legs extended and bring them all the way out and around. Whatever feels best for you and your body. I can already feel my hip flexors are like, whoa. But we're just getting them warm so we can do all the things that we're going to do in this class today. And we're just really activating the sacral chakra right now. 3 more here. And go ahead and release. Shake it out. Let's drop the knees from side to side, little windshield wiper action here. All right, now we're going to drop over to one side. So draw the knees into the chest. Just drop over to a fetal position for me. And then nice and gentle, I want you to just press yourself up to a seat. Take it easy here. Any seat that you are comfortable in. All right. So for me, my easy seated pose is cross-legged. Maybe scooch some goodness out from underneath you so you can feel your sit bones on the mat. And do what's comfortable for you. Maybe this is an easy seated pose for you. Like if you have a hip injury, knee injury, maybe you want to extend the legs. Maybe you want to sit on a blanket, a pillow, block. Make it work for you. Make your yoga work for you and your body. All right, so we're just going to take some gentle little heart opening circles here because we still, we want to get into the spine just a little bit, but we're going to try to find flow. The sacral chakra is about flow. It's about water. So we're going to, instead of just doing our cat-cows, we're going to do some circles. We're going to get flowy with it. All right, so with your hands down on your knees, what I want you to do is bring that chest over to the right. Inhale, bring it through center, then over to the left. Exhale, you're going to kind of shrug those shoulders forward, drop chin to chest, and then take it over to the right. Inhale, push the chest out, and exhale, round. So you see how it's kind of like a cat-cow. But now I want you to find some flow here. Find that circle in your chest. Close your eyes. Take it fast or take it slow, and do what feels good. Find that flow. Link your breath to your movement. Make it feel good for you and your body. Last one here. Now the next time your chest is pushed forward, we're going to take it in the opposite direction. So you're going to go left, and then exhale around the back, and then to the right. Inhaling, pressing that chest out. I think I'm going the wrong direction. I'm sucking at directions today, guys. I'm so sorry. I think we're going in the opposite direction. Whatever's the opposite, go the opposite way. It's been a long few days for me. That's why I apologize for getting this video up a little late. My mom has been in the hospital for a week, healing from a hip replacement. Ironically, we're working on hips. And then I got my second COVID vaccine. And I've been basically bedridden for 2 days. Everything's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. We're going to release it. Whatever's the opposite direction for you, keep going in that direction. Finding those chest circles. Finding some flow. And listening to your body. Most important. Did you know that listening to your body is a form of trusting your intuition? It's activating that intuition so you can trust it. Listen to that voice even more. All right, and the next time you are center with that chest pushed out, take just a moment there. Drop the head back, lift up the chin, little heart opener. And then exhale, go ahead and release. We're gonna take some seated hip openers here. So first we're gonna start with bound angle pose. So like we did when we were reclined, except seated. So I want you to bring your feet bottoms here together to touch, opening up the knees. Now again, you can put those blocks underneath your knees if you need them. And don't worry about your knees being super far down. It's about what works for you and your body. I want you to inhale for a flat spine and exhale folding with that flat spine. So I know a lot of the times it's like, oh, I just want to get really far down here. I just want to see how far I can go. All well and good, but to get the max benefit from the pose, I want you to try to keep a straight spine as you fold. And we're hinging from the hips. So an analogy I like to use is like Barbie. You know how her like torso moves and then like her legs are separate? That's what we're trying to go for here. So you're hinging from those hips without moving your legs, folding over and getting into those hips. Noticing what's coming up for you. Maybe you're already feeling some things come up, that's okay. Give yourself permission to feel. Give yourself permission to release what no longer serves you. And say it out loud. If there's something that's coming up and you're like, man, I just want to get rid of this, say, I am releasing whatever that thing is. I'm releasing it. Journal after this practice. Write it down. I am releasing blank. And then, best full moon, like releasing ritual ever. Write it down. Burn it. So much fun. Feels so good. I'm telling you. All right, go ahead and inhale. Come up. Now we're going to take a wide-legged fold. So bringing your legs out and wide. Now again, they don't have to go super crazy wide. Just wherever feels comfortable for you. Again, inhale, flat spine. Think like Barbie. Hinging from the hips. Our legs don't move. Keeping that flat spine. Breathing. You should feel this in your hamstrings and the hips and the low back. You can also, if you need it, use your block here to kind of rest your hands on, rest your forearms on. Trying to keep that flat spine. Breathing here. On the inhale, maybe you lengthen a little more. On the exhale, maybe you fold a little bit more. All right, we're going to gently inhale, come on up. Keeping those blocks just nearby because we're going to use them here in a bit. I want you to come gently to a tabletop position. So I'm taking it nice and slow here. I'm just going to come right to a tabletop. So my hands and knees and my shoulder, elbow, wrists are all stacked. Hips are stacked over my knees. I'm going to inhale, lift the chin, open up the chest. Finding this cow pose here. And exhale, rounding, drop chin to chest, dome out the shoulders, finding my cat. Inhale, open up. And exhale, round. I'm just tapping into this cat-cow here. Getting just a little bit into the spine, warming up just a little bit more. And now again, I want you to kind of find that fluid motion here. Find that flow. So again, maybe you want to take those full body circles. You know, we did the chest circles. Now take it to full body. So you're arching, and then you're rounding. Let's maybe see if I can get both sides right this time. And find flow. Maybe you want to even exaggerate it more like a dance. You can kind of rotate over your wrists. I used to teach pole dancing. We used to do this a lot in pole. I just want you to make sure you even out your sides here. So if you've gone in one direction, I want you to go in the other direction. Maybe you rock from side to side. Feel the flow. Feel what feels good. Do what feels good. Listen to your body. Your body knows. Your body's like, hey, this would feel good. Do that. Listen to that voice. And always link your breath to your movement no matter what you're doing. A couple more breaths here. Finish up anything that needs to be evened out. So maybe you need to go in the other direction for a little bit. And then go ahead and come back to a neutral spine. Now we're going to find a wide-legged child's pose here. So I want you to bring your knees as wide as the mat. Sink the hips down to the heels. Extend the arms out and drop that chest down. Chin or forehead should be touching the mat. Now this is our grounding here, and we're opening the sacral chakra here as well. We're getting into those hips, and we're also getting grounded. So this is a perfect place. Like I always like to say, joke around, child's pose is the greatest place to cry. Nobody can see you, it's fine. But focus on those affirmations here. I give myself permission to feel, and I release what no longer serves me. Because guess what, guys? In order to release, we have to feel the thing first. You can't just be like, okay, I release it. I'm just gonna release it. I'm not gonna have to cry or anything. I'm not gonna have to process through it. I'm just gonna release it. That's not how it works. First comes the feeling and the processing and the grieving or whatever it is, and then we release. So wherever you are, do what you need to do here. Remember to breathe. Now I want you to inhale here and exhale. Just walk those hands over to the right, so you're getting a little side stretch here in this wide-legged child's pose. You're feeling that left side body open up. And I want you to breathe into that space you created. So from hip to rib cage, you should feel this space opening up. Just breathe into that space. Now inhale, gently walk your hands back through center. And exhale now over to the left. Again, now feeling that space in the right side body. From hip to rib cage, breathing into that space. And go ahead and inhale, come back to center, and just rest here for one more moment. And gently, when you're ready, slowly press up to your knees. And take a seat on your knees, or you can stand on a block if you need to. Now we're gonna go for some lunges here, some pigeon pose action. We're basically gonna hit like every variation of pigeon pose that you can imagine here, so bear with me. So I want you to take your blocks, if you need them, of course, and we're gonna start from standing on our knees. So coming to your knees, you can also, if you need to, put a blanket or pillow underneath your knees. If you have a knee injury or this just feels uncomfortable, put a blanket underneath your knees, because we're gonna be on our knees for a bit here. So I'm standing on my knees. I'm gonna start with the right leg. I'm gonna step that right leg out, coming to a low lunge here. So this is where your blocks come in, because maybe you're like me, you have really short arms. You can put your hands on your blocks. Now what I want you to make sure of is that this knee is over the ankle. Our hips are square to the front of the mat, and we're getting into this left hip flexor. Now maybe you're like, hey, I feel good here, I don't need my blocks, I can bring my hands to my thighs. Or maybe you want to inhale, your arms up. Finding this lunge here, this low lunge. I'm breathing here. I'm feeling my hips open. Gazing up. Now I want you to take a big inhale. Exhale, hands come down to the blocks or to the mat. And I want you to straighten that front leg. So coming to a half splits. Getting into the hamstring just a bit. I want you to flex those toes back towards your face. Again, hands can stay on blocks or hands to the mat. Just try to keep a lift in that chest. You don't want to slouch over here. We're trying to keep nice and tall. Breathing into that hamstring. Now we're going to gently come back to our low lunge. So bending again into that knee. Now I want you to bring both hands and both blocks, if you're using them, to the inside of that right foot. You can just scooch that right foot up and out. And you can open to the side of that foot if you need to. We're finding lizard pose here. So option to stay here on the blocks. You can kind of lower the blocks if you need. You can lower to those forearms. Get really deep into this hip here. I love lizard pose. Don't forget to breathe wherever you're at, breathing into that hip. I like to rock just a little bit from side to side. Get even deeper. Now gently, very gently, come out of it. Drop that foot. You're going to scooch that right foot back in. Split the foot with the hands, and then you're going to keep scooching it all the way over to the left until you can bring your shin down to the mat. We're coming to pigeon pose. Now, your hip might be super up here. What I want you to do is put that block underneath your hip. Bring the ground to you. Find your pigeon pose. You might not need it. You know, do what works best for you. Maybe you want to rest your hands on your blocks. Whatever you're doing, I want you to make sure you just hit this little back bend here in your pigeon first. Inhale here before you exhale and fold over the legs. Now we are going to hold this pigeon for a bit. I want you to really feel here. I know you're like, oh God, no, Natasha, why? You gotta do it. If you want to release, this is where it's going to happen. So I'm breathing here into that hip. You can use your blocks to kind of rest on. Maybe if you have a pillow, you can fold over that. And I want you to breathe here. I want you to give yourself permission to feel. I want you to say it out loud. And I want you to release anything that doesn't serve you. Again, say it out loud. I am releasing blank. Whatever it is you're releasing. Big, deep inhales and exhales. Now slowly, when you're ready, you're going to gently come out of this pose. Bring your hands to the mat. Press into the palms, tuck the back toes, and then just very gently bring that right leg back into your tabletop. Maybe you shake it out and do a few cat-cows here just to release a bit. And then we're going to come to sit on our knees. And we're going to do the whole other side. Coming to my knees. Got my blocks next to me. Get my hair out of my face. All right. So come in to stand on those knees. Again, maybe pillow blanket under the knees. I'm stepping out this time with my left foot into my lunge. Again, using my blocks if I need them. Making sure that ankle is directly beneath the knee. And maybe you bring it to your thigh. Or maybe you inhale those arms all the way up. Whatever feels good. Breathing into this right hip flexor now. Taking a big inhale. Exhale, hands come down either to the blocks or to the mat, straightening that front leg. Coming to that half splits. Toes are flexed back to your face. Just get into that hamstring for a bit. Again, trying to keep that chest lifted. We don't want to hunch over here. Now gently coming back into that low lunge, except this time bringing both hands to the inside of that left foot. Again, I'm scooching my left foot up and then open. I can come opening that foot to the side, and I'm finding my lizard pose here. So again, do what feels good. Maybe you want to release down to the forearms or to the mat. And just get into that hip as deep as you can. Always remembering to breathe into that hip. And when you're ready, gently coming back to your palms. And again, I'm scooching that left foot through center and then all the way over to the right. So I can find my pigeon pose. Dropping that shin down. Right leg is still extended straight back. Again, I can place this block underneath that left hip if I need to. I'm taking a moment here to find a little back bend. And then I'm going to exhale and find my sleeping pigeon. And I'm going to breathe here. And I'm going to give myself permission to feel. Wherever you're at, don't forget about your breath. And if you feel yourself maybe getting too caught up in your feels, remind yourself of your affirmations. I'm releasing what no longer serves me and giving myself permission to feel, but I'm grounded here. This is a grounding pose. Most of myself is on the ground. So maybe just give yourself a gentle reminder to come back down to earth, to feel, yes, but don't get lost in those emotions. We have to release them. A good grounding exercise here in yoga is just feeling and noticing every part of you that's touching the mat. So top of my foot, my knee, my calf, my thigh, my hands. I am grounded here. Focusing on your breath can also bring you to the present. And when you're ready, gently inhale, come up to your palms, press into those palms, tuck those back toes, press into them, and move that left knee back. And again, just come into a seat on those knees. All right, now we're gonna just touch a little bit on camel pose here. We're gonna do a very gentle camel just to get into the front of the hips. So, I'm just gonna come over here. I feel like I never turn that way. I don't know why I turned that way today. I'm gonna turn this way. This is the way I usually turn. All right. So for camel again, you can keep that pillow blanket under your knees if you need it. We're gonna come to stand on those knees. We're not gonna do the full variation of camel. We're just gonna do 3 very gentle camel variations here, or if you'd like to take the full variation of camel, please be my guest. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my hips, my hands to the back of my hips. So right where your hips meet your spine, I have a pretty big divot here. I'm bringing my hands here and I'm gonna try to squeeze my elbows behind me. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna inhale here, exhale, press the hips forward, and drop the head back. I'm not gonna do anything too extreme here. I'm just gonna breathe. Feeling the release in the front of those hips. Very gently inhale, very slowly come up. Exhale, take a seat. Shake it out. We're going to do that 2 more times. Now again, if you'd like to take the full variation of camel, do it. If you'd like to take another variation, do it. Whatever feels good for you and your body. All right, round 2. Coming to stand on my knees. Knees are about hips distance. Hands are coming to that little divot where my hips meet my spine. Squeezing my elbows behind me. Inhale and exhale, press hips forward. Drop the head back, open up the heart. Inhale, very slowly, very gently come up. And exhale, just take a seat. Shake it out just a bit. All right, this is our last time. So again, if you'd like to take another variation of camel, so do something different, whatever works for you. Coming to stand on my knees, hands are coming to my low back, squeezing those elbows. Inhale here, and exhale. Press hips forward and drop back, maybe trying to go just a little bit farther this time. Inhale, very gently, very slowly come up. And exhale, take that seat on your knees. Shake it out. All right. Now we're going to get into these side hips a little bit after doing those intense poses. All right. So I'm still seated on my knees. You can do this just seated on your butt. Also, again, sit on a block, sit on a pillow, what works best for you. I'm going to bring my right hand down to the mat. Inhaling my left arm up and open. And I'm really going to try to press this left hip down. I'm going to try to keep my chest open to the ceiling. And I'm just stretching out this side body here and getting into this outer hip. And I'm going to breathe here. Just again, feeling it from hip to rib cage, that expansion, and breathing into this space. Now I'm going to inhale, come through center, and exhale, take it over to the other side. So right arm is overhead this time. Again, trying to keep that chest open to the ceiling, and I'm pressing that right hip down. I'm breathing into that space that I'm creating. And go ahead and inhale, come through center. All right, my lovelies. We're going to do one more seated pose, and then we're going to take it back to the back. I'm going to come to face you. So what we're going to do is a double pigeon. Like I said, we're hitting all the pigeons today. So we're going to start with the left leg on bottom and right leg on top. So I'm bringing my left shin parallel to this edge of the mat, and the right shin is going to stack directly on top of that. Now, I have a bit of an injury in my right knee, so I can't bring it all the way down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that block, I'm going to put it right there. Normally I can kind of stack both of them, but I've been running a lot, and this knee is like, no, not today. So it's okay. I'm doing a variation for my body. I'm doing what works best for me, as you should too. So I'm putting this block right underneath. So my hips they're still stacked. I can feel it in that right hip. And I'm going to take an inhale here. I'm just going to gently fold. You're going to feel it activate in that right hip. And just know your edge. You don't have to go super far. So you're going to feel it as soon as it's like, whoop, and it catches. There it is. There's your hip. And just breathing here. Again, trying to keep that straight spine. This pose is also known as fire log pose, double pigeon. It's one of my favorites. Again, you can inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Maybe fold a little bit deeper. Inhale, gently come up, and now we're going to switch the legs. So this time, right leg goes on the bottom. Again, shins coming parallel. Left leg comes on top. This side I don't need that block for, but if you do, if you're tight, you have an injury, whatever, you're just going to put a block right under that knee. Give it some support. Again, I'm going to inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, I'm just going to fold. And something to remember here too is, again, if you have an injury, you're like, oh, I can't do this certain pose, it's okay. Non-judgment. Meet your body where it is. It's okay. And it's okay to also feel sad about it, you know. It's a human emotion, right? It's okay to feel things. But it is a grieving process. I talked about this on my Instagram. When I've had 2 reconstructive surgeries on my chest. I have very limited mobility there. I have scar tissue. Pieces of my pectoral muscles are missing. It's very hard for me to do heart openers, and I had to grieve that there's just some poses that will never be accessible for me. And that's okay, because I have variations. I have props. It's okay. But I had to go through that process and feel the things and then release it. There's a lesson there. All right, go ahead and inhale. Come on, back up. All right, my darlings, we are going to come back to our backs. I'm gonna keep my blocks nearby because we're still just gonna use them just a bit. Also bring your strap with you. If you're using your strap, you need your strap. We're gonna do a reclined pigeon. So you're gonna come down to your back. Again, taking it nice and slow. And we're gonna get a reclined pigeon here. So what I want you to do is bending at the knees, feet bottoms are on the mat. You're gonna take that right ankle and cross it over your left thigh. Now maybe this is enough for you. You're gonna stay right here. You can also gently press into this right thigh to open up that hip a little bit more. Now if you want more, you're gonna draw those knees in. You're gonna put your arms through that hole you just created, that figure 4. Wrap your hands around that left thigh and pull it back towards you. And again, this is just an option. You can use your strap here, behind the thigh or behind the foot. These pants are very slippery, so it's hard to kind of keep a grip. Option here too, if you'd like to straighten that back leg, get a little extra hamstring stretch. But you should feel this in that right hip, the low back. And again, staying right here is totally fine. I think I might actually stay here because my right knee is not having it today. And that's okay. I'm breathing into that right hip. Feeling it open, feeling that release. And then when you're ready, gently go ahead and release those legs, uncross them, windshield wiper them out just for a second. And then we'll take it to the other side. So again, left ankle's crossing over right thigh. I can stay right here, maybe press on that thigh a little bit, open it a little bit more. I can draw my knees into my chest, reach in between that space I just created, pulling my legs in. Option if you want to straighten this right leg for a little hamstring stretch. And I'm breathing here. Nice and gentle, releasing and uncrossing the legs. Shake it out here. Now we're just going to take a little supported bridge here. So that's what your block is for. So feet bottoms are on the mat, knees are bent. You're going to inhale those hips up just enough to scooch that block underneath there. And I'm putting mine on a little bit higher of a setting here. You can put it on the lowest one if you'd like. I'm just getting those hips up. Again, we're kind of tapping into the low back, front of the hip, all that jazz here. You can also do this unsupported if you'd like. But we're going to hold this for a bit. We're going to breathe here. And as we hold, as we breathe, I want you to, again, just think about the things that are coming up. Acknowledge them. Don't ignore them. That's what got us into the situation in the first place, right? We don't want to ignore. We don't want to hold on, because ignoring is holding on. I don't know if you guys know that, but when you ignore it, you're just storing it there for later, right? So we're going to acknowledge it, and we're going to release. You can use your breath here to release. So big inhale in through the nose, fill up the chest, fill up the belly. And open mouth, exhale, release. Now when you're ready, I want you to inhale, press those hips up just a little bit more, just enough to get that block out from underneath you. And then go ahead and drop those hips down, scooch that block out of the way. And windshield wiper your legs here. So dropping knees over to one side and then to the other. All right, now, the next time your knees are towards the right, I want you to leave them there. So knees bent and over towards the right. Now this might feel like enough for you. You're going to feel this in the outer left hip. And you're like, you know what, I feel it. I'm going to stay right there. Or maybe you want a little bit more. So you're going to bring that right ankle or right heel just above the left knee. You don't want to go on the knee or on the thigh, just above the left knee. And we're really stretching out this outer hip. Great for the IT band too. A lot of the times in yoga, we really only focus on like hip openers and just like really getting into the inner hip, the groin. We got to get that outer hip too. We got to get the front of the hips. We got to get the whole hips, lower back. It's all there. Breathing here. Gently release. Windshield wiper out the legs again just for a second. And then go ahead and drop them over to the left. And hold them there. And again, if you want a little bit more, you're going to bring that left ankle right over the right knee. You're going to feel that right outer hip start to open. And this is one of my favorite stretches, especially after running. And gently go ahead and release, shake it out. And don't mind my dogs losing it. It's very hard to teach yoga with 3 dogs in the house. Alright, so we're going to start to wrap it up here, cool down even more. I want you to bring your arms out to a T position. You're going to draw those knees into your chest. Inhale here and exhale, drop those knees over to the right, finding some final twists here. Maybe you gaze over that left shoulder in the opposite direction. And I want you to breathe. I want you to have these final moments of release. Reminding yourself here of our affirmations. I give myself permission to feel. Now is the time. And I release what no longer serves me. And here's the thing too, when you maybe feel like you're judging yourself for something that you're releasing, the reason why we say, I release what no longer serves me, because maybe at one point in your life, it did serve you. Maybe at one point of your life, you were like, I needed this. And it's okay. It's okay to grow out of things. It's okay to be like, you know, wow, this really wasn't good for me. It's okay. You are human. Release it. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, knees over to the left. Maybe gaze over that right shoulder. Breathing here. Inhale, go ahead and come back to center. Now we're going to take a final pose here. I'm going to take a happy baby, just that final tap into the hips. Now if there's any other pose that you're like, you know what, that feels really good, listen to your body, do that pose. I'm going to find happy baby, so I'm drawing my knees into my chest, and again, you can use a strap here, you can grab backs of thighs, shins, or for your knees. I'm just going to find this happy baby, maybe bring some movement to it. This is going to be my final release, that final just little like anything that you're holding on to, just get rid of it here. And let it go. I've never actually seen Frozen, which a lot of my clients give me crap for, but you know, just, you know, the song from Frozen, let it go. And finally, whenever you're ready, I want you to find your Savasana. So for me, I'm going to take that same pose that we started with, that Supta Baddha Konasana. So I'm bringing my feet bottoms together to touch. I'm opening at the knees. And my hips feel pretty open, so I don't feel like I need the blocks here, but maybe you still need the blocks. Maybe you want to take a different Savasana. Maybe you want to just expand on the mat, take up space. Maybe you want to take, let's see, prone Savasana. You can flip over if you want to. You can take legs up the wall. That's also a good one. You can find a child's pose. You can also bend at the knees and maybe knock the knees in a bit. It's a great one if you're kind of struggling with the low back. Wherever it is, wherever you're at, meet your body where it is. I want you to place your hands face down on the mat to find grounding. I want you to close your eyes. And I'll let you know when it's time to come back. Just focus on your breath here. And when you're ready, gently bring your awareness back into your space and back into your body. Maybe wiggle the toes or wiggle the fingers. Maybe roll out your wrists or roll out your ankles. Take your time here. Slowly making these movements bigger, until you're ready to draw those knees into your chest. Give yourself one last little squeeze here, nice little hug. And then dropping over to one side into a fetal pose, using your bottom arm as a pillow. I want you to take a moment here, reminding yourself that fetal pose symbolizes fresh starts and new beginnings. And gently, when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a seat, any seat that you are comfortable in, keeping those eyes closed. I want you to bring your hands to either side of you, feeling the mat beneath your fingertips. And I want you to inhale those arms up, taking all that wonderful energy we just created. And exhale, last time, release anything that doesn't serve you. Inhale, arms up one more time. Exhale, draw palms together to touch. And bring those hands to your heart center. The love and light in me honors the love and light in all of you. We bow to our practice. Thank you. That's all I have for you today, my lovelies. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. Also, before I forget, I want to let you know that all of my courses are on sale for $33 right now. That is a crazy, crazy sale. I try to do this sale once a year so I can make my courses as accessible as possible. They're even cheaper if you get them in a bundle. So I'll put the link in the description box. It's on sale until the end of April, so April 30th. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Please, again, if you would, go follow me on Instagram. I'm so close to 100K. Welcome all my new TikTok followers. I try to put out videos for every new moon and full moon and then other things here and there. But if there's something that you would like to see, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you'd like to see. Yeah, I'm just so thankful and grateful for each and every one of you. I love these classes. These are like the highlight of my month, these classes. I hope you have a wonderful full moon. I hope you're ready to release. And yeah, I think that's it. I will see you guys for the new moon.